These guys never ever gave me a chance. You're going to jail or death. You're going to see me on TV watching, fighting for this, fighting for that, all over the world, watch. And they all laughed at me, so I believed in myself.
And you proved them wrong.
That's it, you know. Anthony Mundine came on the scene, shook up the Australian boxing world, and we chased him, and they eventually agreed to a fight at super middleweight for his WBA world title. And it was, it's the most memorable time of my career as far as in my hometown.
Welcome back to part 2 of my chat with Nader Hamdan. Wild young man, that's a simple way of describing you, who grew up around Marrickville, got himself into trouble and sentenced to 3 years in youth detention.
3.5.
Oh, 3 years?
3.5 years.
3.5 years.
6 months is a long time, bro.
Sorry, I just gave you a discount. For acts of violence, you got up to all sorts of shit, didn't you?
Everything.
Yeah. There's a quote that I've got, what you were like as a 15-year-old, and I'll just read it out to you and comment on this. I was 15 years old and I was out of control, bashing anything that moved. I was just a silly, young, angry kid, and I ended up in a boys' home, Mount Penang, on the Central Coast for 3 years from 1991 to 1994. It was all part of that life. There was a car chase, police, a brawl, and that's how it ended.
So it ended. That's it.
So you can recognise yourself as being that wild.
I remember myself in that time because I had a different mentality.
Yeah,
it was a different person, but I remember that. Like I remember it. You know, I remember being in the cop chases. I remember the cop. I remember the bashings. I remember the fights. I remember railway rocks, copping railway rocks in the back of my head. You know, poles.
Was it adrenaline that was driving you?
I don't know, man. It's adrenaline, but just also stupidity, and just whatever. Being a wild, stupid kid, lost, angry. Just.
Do you think were you playing sport?
No, we played for Melville RSL Rugby League.
Yeah.
But that was young. I was 12. So I stopped doing that when I got to 14.
Because I don't think it was a conversation with you. It might have been, but one of the discussions I've had of recent times that the best chance of keeping kids away from trouble is getting them involved in sport.
100%. That's a big thing with me, where I speak to many other parents, or just generally sport is a way to keep the boys away. It's like, you know, these days drugs is big, you know what I mean? If a youth respects his body, respects what he puts in his body, and sport takes you there. Like sport, when you're playing sport, you want to put the right thing in your body. You want to perform. You want to be the fittest guy in that field. You want to perform to your best. Don't smoke. Don't drink. Don't take drugs.
You've never been tempted with drugs?
I've never been big on drugs. In a boys' home, I've never really shared this, but you touch some stuff because you have a smoke.
Pass the time. Yeah,
pass the time. You get bored, and plus, say so and so gets some stuff brought in, let's go slap him, take it off him. It's just the way it is. Because I don't know. I was one of those. Just stand over the guy, take his shit off him.
In the detention.
That's it. It's because you're bored. You're bored, so you just take it off him.
Okay. Well, your life changed after reading a book, and another quote that I've heard you say. I didn't want that life. I didn't want to put my parents through all the grief. I thought about was boxing. Sorry, all I thought about was boxing, about getting a big fight, about fighting overseas. So that's the mentality you left the boys' home with. Pretty
much, man. 'Cause my parents, came every week to visit me, and just they supported me. So that's who supported me. That's who was there for me. So I was never gonna go break their hearts again. So I had that in my mind. Never to break my parents' heart ever again. So that was big for me. Very
Did you
big.
make that commitment to the parent? Did you tell your parents?
I told them, but saying one thing and
doing.
Yeah, I'm not a big on words. I think more just do it. You know what I mean? So I told them, but then when I got out, they saw it. So that made them a lot more proud than the talk.
Right. Okay. We discussed in part 1 how when you got out, you walked into the gym with Johnny Lewis training.
Yeah.
And you started your career as an amateur boxer.
Yes.
You travelled around the state with the crew, going to different fights.
Great crew, yeah.
Was everyone of the positive mindset like you were that this is what we want to do?
No, there were a bunch of fighters there. I think I was the only one, obviously, in my shoot doing what I was doing.
Yeah.
Coming from my background, but as far as juvenile justice, straight into this, the boys were just all good boys, good fighters. They wanted to be fighters, you know what I mean? So just young guys with the same dream, you know. So and I'm still friends with the majority of them.
How did it change your outlook on life, finding like-minded people?
It's like how I don't know. Just you know what, I didn't change. I'm strong upstairs. When I want to do something, I'll do it. When I don't want to do it, I don't do it. You know, some people call me stubborn.
Yeah, I was just going to say it.
Yeah,
That's
my
a good
wife,
definition of stubborn. Your poor wife.
And your poor wife.
Yeah.
And just general people I'm stubborn. If I say no, that's it. I'm stubborn. Even if I might be wrong, that's it. You know, that's it. My mind's set.
Okay. You walk into a boxing gym. You're a good street fighter, or you've had enough street fights that you can't remember.
Yeah.
What did you find with boxing? Did you get taken to school?
What happened initially was I sparred a guy. I smashed him.
Yep.
And then they called in this guy named David Birchall, and he's fine. He'll be happy with me mentioning this because he loves it. He loves it still to now. He gets smart to me. And David Birchall just won the King's Cup. He was one of the gold medalists, etc. Great amateur boxer.
Yeah.
And they threw this guy in with me, and I couldn't catch him. This guy was just down, but bing, 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 moving around, just always. And he was on top of that. He was a left-hander, a southpaw.
Yep.
I don't know what a southpaw was back then. I don't know what a southpaw is.
Didn't even know at
that
stage.
that time I know what southpaw is, you know, and this guy's in and out, but like a kangaroo. Tuk, 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 tuk. I just want to grab him and eat him, man. I couldn't. I said, man, I had to go to work. I just had to go and train harder, man.
And that was a good lesson for you?
Oh, a huge lesson. Man, boxing is a different thing to a street fight. I can't grab him in the ring. You can't. There's rules. So it's discipline, you know what I mean? So as much as hard as I wanted to trap in that corner, grab him and just smash him, headbutt him and kill him and stomp on his head, not allowed in a boxing ring.
Did it show you that discipline breeds a different type of toughness? Like you're talking about him, like you're a street fighter and he would lit you up all over the place in the boxing ring.
Yeah, it's a boxing, obviously, but you know, you can't do certain things.
Yeah.
Boxing, that's it. So it was this discipline of just bang. You got to box, you got to work this guy out. So slowly we sparred a lot more, and slowly I started catching up to him. We were caught up, and you know, you turn the thing eventually, you know. But it's a great lesson. That's when you know you're like I used to spar Justin Rouse, all the great Alan McNamara, Justin Rouse, all these great boxers, you know, and Aaron Nabel, you know, all these great boxing. And I learned a lot from all of them. And they help you become a better boxer, better fighter. So these guys done a whole heap for me.
I'm obviously interested in boxing, but I'm also interested in the stories that you hear time and time again of people walking into a boxing gym and learning discipline and self-respect.
100%.
My take on it is I've seen a lot of people walk into a boxing gym and think they're tough guys, and then they get put in the ring with someone that doesn't look like a tough guy, and that guy just towels them up.
100%.
And it makes you realise that there's different forms of toughness. Do you think that plays out in the boxing?
Yeah, definitely. Boxing, you're not going to find out, you know what I mean? Boxing, definitely, you know exactly where you stand.
Yeah.
And it's a different thing, like I said, different discipline. A street fight to street fight, it's easy. Boxing, you're fighting a guy that knows how to box and knows how to fight, knows how to move around in and out. Can really put you on show.
And the other thing with boxing, I think this is a good lesson. It doesn't have to be boxing. It could be dancing. It could be any sport. You get rewarded for the effort that you put in. You can't take shortcuts in boxing.
Not
if you
all.
take a shortcut, you're going to be found out.
Big time.
And I think that's a really good life lesson, because quite often people think, you know, especially when I was a cop, and I'd be saying, well, you know, send this kid, similar to what you were going through. I'd go send him to the Police Boys Club. And why? Why do I want to teach him how to fight when he's bashing people anyway?
Yeah.
But you'll find that once they learn to really how to fight, they don't feel the need to bash people.
No, they discipline. It's a discipline, man. They respect that whole thing. Then it becomes different. I don't really fight. Like you don't want to fight no more outside.
Did that come to
Definitely,
you that you didn't have to prove yourself?
I went into the boxing, like I said, went to Newtown, trained, got ready to fight, started boxing, started fighting amateur, and never really wanted to fight ever again outside.
Yeah.
Didn't care to. It's a discipline. You know you can't. You don't want to anyway. Yeah, even like you just become a lot more patient. You become, I guess, patience goes with discipline.
Yeah.
So it's like that.
Now, you fought 15 times or so as an amateur,
Yes.
but then you went across as a professional boxer. Tell the people that don't really understand boxing what the difference between being an amateur boxer and a professional boxer is.
Besides the headgear, amateur boxing, you wear headgear. Amateur boxing is very straight punches, a lot of straight punches. And say I'm a fighter, I want to fight, I want to be on your chest punching on. It's not for an amateur boxer. Amateur boxing is more clean shots. So I knew early on that I got to turn pro pretty quickly. So I had maybe a year or two in the amateurs and turned pro. And that was a lot more suited to my style.
And then you started training with Jeff Fennick.
Yeah, I started training Jeff Fennick, yes.
The person that you read the book
Yeah.
in the boys' home actually became your trainer.
Yeah, been with John Lewis, always close to Jeff Fennick.
Yep.
So it was always Johnny was away with Costa at that time.
Yep.
So I was found.
That's Costa Zoo.
Yeah,
Yep.
Costa Zoo. So at that time, Nader Hamdan was training with Jeff. And me and Nader and Hussein brothers are good friends. So I just went over there and had it while he was away and just ended up turning pro. Just amateur boxing not me. Like I said, I'm not an amateur boxer. My style was never amateur. I want to fight, and I turned pro under Jeff.
Okay, and how did that change your life? Deciding to become but were you aiming for a world title? What were your dreams?
Mate,
what were your aspirations?
my dreams and what people really thought were two different things. I want to be world champion.
Yep.
People thought this guy wouldn't even win a state title.
Right.
That's people's perception. I was a street fighter. This guy's he's not upstairs. It takes a lot more than just punching on. So people thought I'd be lucky to win a state title initially. I could say including my trainer Jeff, but then he believed in me.
What did he see in you?
That
others
just
didn't.
Just a commitment, discipline, hard work, and willing to put in the hard work too. I'm a hard trainer. I had a lot to work. I started late boxing. I did look at it long when I was a kid, but I had no discipline to do it. So when I got out of the boys' home, I put my head down and this is my way. It's going to be me.
Tell again for people that don't understand the commitment, because I think the point I'm trying to get across here, that this is a kid prior to you coming out of the boys' home, it was just reckless. You couldn't concentrate on anything. You weren't doing your schoolwork properly.
Nothing.
It was just.
I was doing nothing properly.
And now you've got into a sport they call the herding game, because it's a tough sport, but it needs so much dedication. Tell us the life of a professional boxer.
I knew I could fight, but boxing and a street fight, two different things. But yeah, boxing is, man, you get up in the morning, you do your work, road work, strength work, or it may be sprints.
So road work is going for a run in the morning?
Road work's going for a run in the morning, whether it be road work, hill sprints, sprints across the athletic field, or a long 10-kilometre run. Hill work, where just up and down stairs. And then you got to have a break, straight into the gym a couple hours later. And the gym work is just phenomenal. You set a pace. You got to be disciplined to, I fought 12 rounds 30 times. I had bad hands. I broke my metacarpals on my wrist for
just stop you there.
Yep.
Because I just want people to understand, you fought 12 rounds 30 times.
Yeah.
So 12-round fight. So that's
Yep.
the maximum you can fight in
Yes.
boxing. 3-minute rounds with a 1-minute break.
Yeah.
So people fully appreciate what we're talking here, because you rattle it off like it's it's.
It became though. It's like that. It's like that.
Well,
As a fighter, yes.
yes, definitely. But to do that, I invite people to, let's say, hang a punching bag and punch it for 3 minutes.
Understand.
And feel how tired you are after that.
Understand.
Then have a break for 60 seconds and do it again and again, as hard as you can. Then imagine someone's punching back, that punching bag's punching back.
100%.
And if you're still standing on your feet, that's what we're talking about here. So the type of dedication.
It's intense. Nothing like it.
What were your career highlights?
May I look at my world title fights?
Talk us through that, because I think that's fascinating.
Well, I had one in Sydney against Anthony Mundine, which was brewing for years.
Now, I think most people, he's a mate of yours.
He's a stranger. No one knows who he is, but Anthony Mundine's a guy that just lives around here somewhere.
Yeah, he's a quiet little fella.
He's a quiet guy, yeah.
Doesn't make many controversial comments.
He's
but
too quiet.
Everyone that knows him speaks highly of him.
He's a
controversial figure at different stages. But You were fighting him for a world title in Sydney.
in
I think
Sydney.
it was the first time two Sydney fighters had fought for
Yes,
a
it
world
was.
title.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. Yeah,
At the entertainment centre.
the old entertainment centre is not there anymore.
Yeah,
So.
they knocked us down after it. Talk us about that, because that's a big moment in sport in this country.
It was a huge moment for me. My first world title fight after sitting on the sidelines for 3 years as number 2 in the world at super welterweight, trying to get De La Hoya. That frustrated the hell out of me.
Oh yeah, got to talk about that.
Yeah, I was number 2 in the world for like 3 years, trying to get De La Hoya, and I just couldn't get him. I went to Japan for the top 10 guy there, which they promised me a world title, and I still didn't get it. Pretty much disillusioned with the sport. Moved up a division, had my first loss. Had to change teams, regroup, and Anthony Mundine came on the scene, shook up the Australian boxing world, and we chased him, and they eventually agreed to a fight at super middleweight for his WBA world title, and it was it's the most memorable time of my career as far as in my hometown.
It was big.
Big. It was big. It was a huge, awesome event. The place was packed. The whole that time where 6 to 8 weeks preparing, it was a big buzz in the area because we only live around the similar areas, you know.
Yeah.
So everyone knows everyone. All our friends know everyone. It's on. And it was a great night. The place was chockers, huge noise, and it was a great fight. The crowd was going off. So,
what's the pressure like walking out there? Because if you win that fight, your life has changed forever.
Pretty much.
And we're talking money,
yes.
Financial, set you up for life,
100%.
that type of thing. Stakes are extremely high, and you're walking into a boxing ring fighting for a world title,
yes.
so you could get seriously injured too.
Mate, I remember you can see it in my replay, right? They announced me, I'll come out, I'll walk out, but I'll have to go back in because the madness, the screaming was crazy. I had to walk in, collect my shit, get my shit together again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to breathe, then I had to walk out again. But I remember that, man. It's like I never felt that before. 10,000, 12,000 people going mad. So walked through, got in the ring. It was a pretty buzz, and the world champion walks in, and in the ring it was huge. It was.
I remember it. I remember
it was
it
great,
well.
It was a great time.
Okay, so you come through that 12 rounds. You went. You lost on points.
It was a great fight. It was a great. It was like a good. He was like obviously just the speed, man. His speed is great. That's what won him the fight. His speed.
Yeah.
So I was chasing him corner to corner, and it made for a great fight. You know, so
you didn't disgrace yourself by
no, it was a great fight.
Yeah.
Everyone loved it. Everyone was going mad. The place was buzzing for full 12 rounds, just screaming. Like, you know, every day. I haven't watched it for a long while, but I've watched the replay a couple of times, and it's Sometimes I remember the referee, one of the he couldn't even hear the bell. That's how crazy it got.
Yeah.
The referee didn't even hear the bell to stop the fight. It stopped the round, so it was wild in there.
It's definitely noisy in there.
Very noisy, and like I said, everyone knows everyone. We're all mates. We're all around the same. You know, everyone knows everyone. It was a great buzz.
After the excitement leading up to it, when you lost, how did you feel?
I lost, but it's like, man, you know when you give something your best. You give your best, man. You lose, but you can deal with it.
You did everything you could.
I did everything I could, and that's it. But, you know, he won, and it would have been great to win. And I always thought I'd get a rematch, but he would never ever give me a rematch. He goes to me, "Do not ask me for a rematch." I even wrote it on my poster. Do not ask me for a rematch. You know what I mean? So
okay, well that's a bit telling.
Yeah, he just and I kept bothering him for a little while. You know, even towards the end of our careers. Okay, listen, man, I think we could fill this place up big time, and I know we could because
do it again.
Everyone would come to see us go again.
Yeah.
In the era, but he just never wanted no part of it. So.
What stage was your life at this? Were you married? Had kids?
Yeah, I've been married. I got married young. Thankfully, I'm very I'm blessed. I found a great woman, and you know they say get them, so I did. I married her straight away.
How old?
I was 21.
Right.
Yeah.
And when did you have kids?
My oldest today the 16th, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Today he turned 25.
Okay.
So yeah. So Huss, who's 5-0, is a pro.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you
They
about
want him to
that.
go boxing, but he's boxing. He's 5-0, and I'm proud of him.
As a dad, you got 3 boys, and I think 2 are in the boxing
now. Now there's 2, but 1.5 I can say because the other one hasn't actually had his first fight yet. But so I'm still trying to steer him away from it. But I put them all in football, soccer.
Yeah.
And they all can play. Like my youngest is playing Premier League 1 for St. George. Premier League 1 is like for guys that don't know. It's like a level
Just
or 2 under A-League.
Yeah.
So he can play. You know, the boys can play, but Huss unknowingly, one day he's training with Akaway Boxing, my old trainers.
Yeah.
And he goes, Dad, so and so and so. I go, what? You know what I mean? Doing private lessons, you know. So I just try to avoid the boxing with him because I don't want him to, you know, I did it, you know. There's no, I just don't want to box, but they went down and he's committed. He's committed 100%. So I respect that.
You support them.
I support him. I support them 100%. My middleman now, all of a sudden wants to box. Football has a lot of politics involved. It's even worse than boxing.
Yeah.
So he's kind of now wants to box as well, and he's training. So we'll see. Up to him in the end. It's as if I see him put in, he can fight.
Yeah, support him.
If I don't see him put in, and plus he's at uni, I go, Dad, just focus on. He goes, I can do that and do this. I go, no problem.
Because you got two of them at uni.
Two of them at uni, yeah. So very important that they, you know, they smash the uni. Huston do the uni. He got out of it. You know, he was doing an apprenticeship, but that same people he was working for are actually his biggest sponsors.
Right.
So he's always going to be. They're great people. He's always got a place there, regardless of whatever happens. You know. So,
okay, so you let him have his shot at boxing.
You let him do it, and you know, like he's my oldest, so he's, you know,
by all reports,
he got me wrapped around his finger.
He's doing.
They all do.
Well, doing well, and the wife controls the whole place.
I feel sorry for the poor lady.
Do you talk to your kids about the life that you had and the shit
like
that you did?
Because they've heard this is my third podcast.
Yeah.
And they've heard some snippets, and they've also, because during my boxing career, there was a fair bit of thing on my past in the papers, where they you know, obviously I came from the background to the boxing.
Yep.
And they knew, so they know about it. I've explained to them. I was a guy that I used to take my boys for drives when I was small and show them the evils of drugs, the evils of alcohol, and go, boys, this is what happens. Don't ever touch drugs. Don't smoke. Don't do drugs. This is what happens unless you take them to places in a city that's well known for people being on the street stoned or off their heads.
Like take them down the back alleys of the
back
cross.
alleys of the cross, Darlinghurst, and just show them, boys, have a look. You know, so this is what drugs do. Don't get tempted.
Your thoughts behind that? Just showing them.
Just show them. It's just the reality that, you know, like this day and age. Look at drugs. Look how bad it is. Look at drugs. How much you go outside. You can go outside now, see someone off his head, or it's just sad, man. You know, like the news, all these drug busts, the news, all these crazy things happening around here, and so you can't tell me that's humanity. It's just that's something's happened to someone that's brought something on. So obviously, drugs is smashing people real bad.
Does it concern you having boys growing up that they could get caught up in that sort of stuff?
Well, thankfully, my boy's now past that stage.
Okay.
You know, I've got my youngest is 18 now, and he's a committed footballer. So he knows the dangers of. I've showed him as well. Like my elder, 21, my 21-year-old, and like Huss, who's 25 now. So they know they respect and love their as far as their health. You know, they know they can't
respect to their body.
They got to respect the body. If they want to move forward in their chosen sports, they know they can't do it with smoke, with alcohol, with drugs.
Yeah,
it doesn't happen. You can't mix that with that and be the best person you can be in a sport, on a sporting field, or in life.
Yeah.
So it's very important.
Now you made some money from boxing, and boxing's a funny thing. You can make a certain amount, and you can go to the next level.
Yeah,
and
nothing
make
special. There's levels.
Loads.
Yeah, definitely.
But you've managed to sort of set yourself up in life because of.
Yeah, I wouldn't say set up, but I'm doing okay. You know what I mean? Yeah. I didn't earn no millions, but you know, I got my home and got my family, and we're just looking after the family and doing our best.
Did you ever get tempted to go back to the, let's call it the dark side or the wild side, or that was completely separate too?
Never. Once I started boxing and now I got my family.
Yeah.
Nah, man. And plus, I don't show it, but I'm very, as far as doing good and bad, as far as like a religion type of thing. Yeah, I kind of try and lead a good life. As far as being good to people, not being bad, I try and do the best I can do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that you put that down with your religion. That's
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely being good. Respecting your neighbour, doing all that. You know, like that quote that I love. Imam Ali says, "People are two types: your brother in faith, or your equal in humanity."
Yeah.
So that's big. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That's very important.
Back to the boxing.
Yep.
You've said Oscar De La Hoya, you're ranked number 2 in the world.
Yep.
And there was 2 years you tried to get
2
a
years.
fight with him. Now, he was probably, at that time you were seeking the fight, probably the biggest thing in boxing.
He was the biggest thing in boxing at that time. He'd fought a Frenchman from France and had done nothing as far as his box office numbers. And I think that after that they tried to keep it to Mexicans and blacks.
Yep.
Only. So I was pretty much, I copped out. I got, the time I got Japan, I went to Japan, I fought another top 10 world rated fighter. I beat him in his country, in Osaka.
Yeah.
In probably my biggest win. I was promised a world title fight after that. What happens is he goes on, the Japanese guy, goes on to win the world title after that. And I got stale, man. I got disillusioned with it all and moved up division, lost my first fight, hated the sport, had to change, just made a full change and went to another team and had to make a change.
Yeah.
You know?
You got another shot at the world title out of the blue. Well, not out of the blue.
Well,
You've done the hard work.
Yeah, I've done the hard work.
Short notice.
It was short notice. Like what happened was I was pretty much fighting everyone and anyone. This thing called the Contender came on.
Yep.
I played the villain. I'm not a 5-round fighter. They were 5-round format fights. I can't fight 5 rounds to save my life. So, but I just went in there and I thought, you know, I'm just going to play the bag. I took a leaf out of Anthony Mundine's book, played the bad boy, started talking a lot of shit.
Look, we'll talk about the show, and people that have listened to the podcast might remember we had
Garth Wood, love the guy, champion.
Who won the
He
Contender.
won it, yes.
And he played a role there too,
Yep,
and I
he's a
suppose that's
champion.
reality TV. But
Yeah.
what it was, and it was fairly, it was big at the time. It was,
Yes, it was.
before all these reality TV shows have come on. But you put a group of fighters in a place together, and basically they fight off in a round robin type situation, or a knockout, wasn't
It
it?
was a lot of fun, yeah.
And the winner takes all and gets to fight Anthony
Mundine was
Mundine.
there, and I was trying to get the rematch. That's the only way to get it, so I put myself in there.
And you went in there and what role can I fill? And you played the bad boy.
I knew that. I knew very early on I'm not a 5-round fighter.
Yeah.
Okay, man, I'm going to struggle. I've been fighting 12 rounds since 1998.
Okay, so the fights were condensed to 5 rounds,
Yeah,
so that wasn't going to be your...
a sprinter.
Yeah.
And put in that context, I'm a long distance runner. This is for the sprinters. So I knew, man, I'm in trouble. So I thought, you know what, I better do something, just cause some chaos. Maybe something will happen. So I just started talking shit. I had a whole bunch of young guys. I got probably older than them all by 10, 12, 15 years. So I just started they're all Australian champions. So I started picking Australian champions, just being cheeky, you know what I mean? And I told the boys, I go, boys, let's just make it. Because everyone was getting on too well.
Yeah.
We were getting on too well. I go, boys, it's going to be boring television. Let's just start talking shit, carrying on and make it fun. And Junior Talapau was like, yeah, let's do it. You know what I mean? Junior's a good mate of mine from the Shire. Les Papa was the other Australian champion. They were the 2 Aussie champs. And Les Papa was like, no. I go, brother, you're going to cop it. That's it, full stop. So once I started giving it to him, he started giving it to me back. So it was pretty cool, you know. And yeah, the show was great. It was a fun show, and ended up getting in the 3rd round, I think, gone. I just couldn't do the 5 rounds, you know what I mean? It's not me. I'm a 12-round fighter. But as soon as I got out, a guy, Daniel Pawsey, was rated number 8 in the world, WBO. He called me out. That was the next best thing that could happen for me. That's what I wanted. If I could win this, the plan was to just... someone's going to hate me because I'm a big mouth and call me out. He called me out, number 8 in the world, called me out. And we fought. And like I said, I'm a 12-round fighter. I took him in the deep waters, drowned him, took his world rating, took his title belt. Here I am doing a barbecue at home, weighing about 86 kilos. You know, enjoying, that's it, you know what I mean? I think I won that fight. It was great. And then I get a phone call from Angela Hyder, who got me many fights overseas. I've been to Germany 4 or 5 times. Been to America, been to Japan, Croatia, Canada. So I fought all over the world. And thanks to Angela Hyder, you know, and Jeff Fennick. And Angela goes, listen, what are you doing? I go, I'm just doing a barbecue, man. He goes, what are you weighing? I go, about 84, 86. He started laughing. He goes, and I think that was Sunday. He goes, what are you doing Saturday night? I go, he goes, you want to fight for world title? I go, what? He goes, world title. He goes, WBO world title fight. I go, you serious, man? You dream me up, you know what I mean? Because it came from nowhere.
Yeah.
And I'm doing I go, hey, I'm doing barbecue, yeah? I'm going to enjoy my barbecue and shit, yeah. I want to fight. I'm in. That's it, done. He goes, Nader, you're on a plane. That was Sunday. He goes, you're on a plane Tuesday morning, 6 a.m.
Fly over for a world title
So I had to ring up my trainer. I go, Mick, what are you doing? Mick Agaway. I go, what are you doing, hubby? He goes, I go, what are you doing this week? Any plans? He goes, no, it's coffee and that. I go, we're gonna have coffee in Berlin. He goes, what? Because you're treating up, you know what I mean? Okay, bro, I got to a title fight, etc. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it was exciting. He goes, are you serious, man? Because I'm a G-up guy. I do a lot of, I'm a prankster. Everyone knows I'm a prankster. And so he didn't believe me until someone rang him. And then, we're leaving Tuesday morning. And Tuesday morning we're on a plane to Berlin.
How much weight did you have? 86. What
Yeah, I was
were you
86, 10 kilos, 76.2.
You had to fight at 76.
Yeah, it's no problem, man. I've done it before. I used to fight a super welterweight at 69. I used to always go for 80 kilos to 69, no problem. So
there'd be a lot of people listening. They'd be going 10 kilos.
Yeah, about 10 kilos because you do it for one night.
Yeah.
So the weigh-in is 24 hours before. You know, I flew over there. I lost my 10 kilos pretty quickly.
So, okay, so you got 6 days plus a across-the-globe flight.
Yep.
And you're walking into a world title. What was that like?
I went to Germany, man. It was great over there. It was, now there was like, you got to do the media stuff at shopping centres, the open day sparring, training, and it was a buzz, man. It was a huge buzz. Like, just I had nothing on. I was doing nothing. I was doing a barbecue. Nothing was going on. And then world title fight. The media over there was pretty big, and because I'd fought their best over there, I fought in Germany 4 times.
They knew about you.
They all knew of me. And I fought one of the biggest. After Abraham, we went 12 rounds in a war earlier. You know.
And it's a big deal over there. Germany,
they love their boxing. They love their boxing. So they all knew me. And there was a fair bit of media and noise. It was pretty cool. Done open training at shopping centres. It's part of it. And dropped my weight. My weight went down easy. You know, I'm away from my home fridge. Too easy. Away from the wife's cooking. Too easy.
How that again? 12 rounds. But
He went 12 rounds, man. We punched on. I hurt him a couple of times, and it made for a really exciting fight. The crowd was going mad. He got me on points.
Yeah.
You know, when you win on points, and the points are only like three to 4 rounds difference. When you win. When you got that kind of scoring, you know it was a hell of a fight. So,
well, Nader, you with all that you've done with your boxing, you want to be proud. Like fighting for 2 world titles, 99% of people don't get
one shot. I understand.
One shot, and that's the professional boxers. So, yeah, it's. You got any regrets or looking back at your career?
No regrets, man. You can't regret. Obviously, I regret staying around as long as I did. Like I should have got out. But you know how it is, man. Just you don't know when to get out, man.
I wonder about that, like the adrenaline that must go through.
There's
like you
nothing
talked about the walking into the entertainment centre and world title fights and other fights that you've had. How do you find that buzz after you retire?
Nowhere. You can't find it anywhere. Now I've got like my son, who's boxing. That's probably the next close thing I can get to it, which I do. My nerves and my stomach and everything else, and I know. You know, I'm in the dressing room with him before the fight and walking out with him, so I'm feeling and going through it all over again now with my son. But apart from that, there's nothing else.
You can't find it.
No way. That's why it was hard to just leave.
Are you at peace with yourself?
Yeah, definitely. The boxing part?
Yeah.
That's it, done. Like I told my son, because I fought from super welterweight, I fought every division up except heavyweight.
Yeah.
I even had 2 wins at cruiserweight, which is 1 under heavyweight.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, so, and I was, towards the end of my career, I'm going to have 1 at heavyweight. You know, I still him and his mum, they used to blow up at me. I just 1 at heavyweight. I've done every division except heavyweight. Let me have 1. And they wouldn't allow it at the end, so I didn't have it.
Okay.
But it's a buzz.
I could imagine. Other things that you've done throughout your career and life, you've done some acting as well.
Yeah, I've done a bit of TV work that I really, really enjoyed. I would really like to do that, but I still don't have got the right, you know, you need agents and the right people, like I guess in boxing or any other sport.
Like the boxing.
Yeah, so I did opposite Matt and Abel in East West 101 and Don Haney. I was a bad guy and they cop chase and got shot at the end, and it was pretty cool, man.
Like art imitating
life,
imitating
art.
The
cop was chasing me across the bridge in a hot car, and I think on a flashback.
Matt played me as a cop, so they would have caught
you,
didn't he?
Yeah, he was a cop in that show too.
Good.
He's actually he's the one that shot me.
Oh.
Matt shot me. Matt, you believe that? Matt shot me.
I feel almost guilty.
So, yeah.
But acting is something that you'd be interested in doing?
I'd love to do some acting, man. Just, you know, it's tough. You got to be in the right, but you got to know the right circle.
Know the people.
You know, I did also that Against the Ropes. It was a boxing thing. I was a boxing trainer in it.
That was on SBS?
Yes.
And it was about a
female boxer.
Yes. And the dad didn't want, she was Muslim, Dad didn't want her fighting.
100%.
great show. What's it called? Let's do a shout
I
out
think it was
for
Against the Ropes.
Yeah, that's it. It was
Against the
3 or
Ropes. And
4
it was a good
parts.
show, yeah. It was a good show, and I enjoyed that. And I've done some commercials and
You played your role very well in that.
yeah, boxing just came second nature. I was a boxing trainer, too easy.
But you need all types in the film. You got nothing about
Mate.
your looks. You're a very handsome man,
Yeah,
but
no,
you got the right look for.
Yeah, I got this, all this stuff is going on now, like the underbellies and Middle Eastern stuff.
Yeah.
I just got to get the right agent to get one of these roles. So I think I'd get shot easy.
Yeah, you'd be.
I'm a good die. You know what I mean? I could die pretty easy.
I've got a mate, Rob Carlton. He's an actor, and he was counting up away with him, and he was counting up the amount of times he's died on TV.
Wow. You die. It's pretty.
It says a lot about his acting.
It's interesting.
Yeah, but okay. You've also you worked for the council for 10 years. You had a taxi.
Yeah, 8 years. 8 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had 8 years at the council. I had a cab towards the end of my career. I had my own lease.
Yep.
Had my Monday to Friday drivers. I used to drive it on the weekends, have a bit of fun. It was fun, just meeting different people and
people getting the cab and recognising.
yeah, I did get that, but I always say it's my brother. But some people just, but you can't. Some people bullshit. Look at your nose, you know what I mean? Okay, yeah, my brother punched shit out of him, but you can't get away with it too much. But it was fun, doing the weekends. It was pretty fun.
Yeah. And what are you doing with yourself now?
These days I'm doing PT. I had a coffee run with Santos, and they're good guys, great people. But now, just doing PT, box exercise. It's what I do best.
Yeah.
I know boxing. I've done 12 rounds 30 times, as I said. I know how to get fit. I know how to get weight off, doing 10, 15 kilo drops during my career.
Yeah.
So I know how to get weight off. I help people. I help people lose weight. I help people get fitter. People want to get fit. People want to get healthy. Put them in the right direction.
Well, I think people are starting to understand the benefits just from a pure fitness point of view of boxing. So, in that space as a personal trainer. But, Nader, the way you're living your life, you had so many people saying you're going to end up in jail or you're going to end up dead. What were they seeing in you and how did they get it so wrong?
Man, I can understand that thought because when I was a kid, I remember that 15, 16-year-old, 17-year-old, even 18, when I was in a boys' home running amok in there. I don't remember that guy anymore, but I can understand because he was out of control. He was something else. He was possessed. When people ask me out, I go, he was possessed. The devil had him. That was a little devil. He was just out of control. So I can understand that thing. But also I had a thing inside of me too that I had goals. I wasn't going to be in the system forever. I done my 3.5 years and I never wanted to go back. And youth workers and all those guys, the top guys, the superintendents and that, they don't believe me. They all go, this guy will end up in jail like the rest of them. I said, watch. I told them all, watch. So I go, you're going to watch me on TV fight. And I told them all that, and they didn't believe me. They laughed at me because they've obviously heard it many times before. You're going to watch me on TV, play football, do whatever. I told them, you're going to watch me on TV, watch. You're going to see me on TV watching, fighting for this, fighting for that, all over the world, watch. And they all laughed at me, so I believed in myself.
And you proved them wrong.
That's it, First little victory.
That's pretty cool.
No, it's a buzz. It was a buzz.
One of the things, and we talked about this off mic, one of the things that you really want to get involved in is trying to get a foot in to talk to young kids.
Man,
you call them the 10%ers, the 10% that might go the wrong way.
Man, I've put it across to some people. At schools, there's always that. These days, day and age especially, there's issues going on at schools. You hear about it on the news all the time. There's a lot more in juvenile justice, a lot more. So, if you can get to the schools, get to those 10%ers before it happens, share my story, maybe even take them to the juvenile justice, take them to Mount Penal, Yasma or Raminda, and show them the reality of this is the path you go and this is where you're going to end up. Then eventually you should show them the jails too, so they realise where they're going, because it's a huge wake-up call when you first go. I went there for the first time and what a wake-up call, man. It was huge. Everything's dark. I know I got in there, it was late night, it was early morning, and it's all creepy and dark, and man, it's real. So I just want to show them the reality.
If you could do that, even like speaking at schools, like we talked about you going back to your school for the awards.
Yeah, I've even been back to juvenile justice once to do that as well too.
How did that play out?
Mate,
How did it come about?
They appreciate. That was like a same thing. A worker stayed in touch with me, told me to come up. I said, it was a pleasure to come. And definitely, it's something I always wanted to do. It's like a victory for me where I was there and these guys never ever gave me a chance. You're going to jail or death. So for me, go back to my old school, or go back to juvenile justice, and then also inspire, or what it is, just share my stories. Like, it's pass it on. Hopefully there's another guy there that it doesn't have to be boxing, it could be any path, but commit yourself.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So I just want to try get in that line of work where I'm able to motivate, talk to some guys, share my thing, because there's a lot of guys out there that are lost, that think that's the only way, or there's no other way, and they've got to know there is a way. You got to surround yourself with the right people.
Well, I think you're a classic example of someone that's turned their life around.
I appreciate it.
Because your life was going down a path. Do you do local police or anything at police boys clubs, or any police get you involved in?
Mate, I did this stuff with police as a youth liaison officer by Gandhi Sin, and at Campsie Police, and I did some stuff with him for a long time. And then I did, when I retired, and I know that he, I love the guy, and he's a youth liaison officer at Campsie. He offered me a role there. But at the time, I wasn't ready. And I said no, because I just wasn't ready mentally, because I had just retired from boxing. So I don't think I was ready headspace-wise. But then recently I told him, listen, I'm ready. If there's something there, I'm ready now, you know what I mean? Because, at the time, when you're not ready, you're not ready. You don't want to mess it up. Yeah. So I wanted to do it right. So I feel now's the right time for me to do this kind of stuff. And I do this kind of stuff in my own time. Like, you always, a lot of guys reach out to me, whether it be social media or just through people, to have a chat, have a talk, and I'll do that kind of stuff in your own time. It's just a natural, being another human being. You know what I mean?
It's the right thing to do.
It's just the right thing to do, to share. To try and help. If you can help, you help.
Yeah. Do you think it turns around the mistakes of your youth? Do you think you look back on your life now and go, okay, well, that was the old me. I've completely changed now.
100%. That's why I try and use myself always in my as the example. I don't need to use no one else. I use myself.
What's advice for any young kid? Let's say I'm the young kid going, well, fuck you. I know what I'm doing. Don't you tell me what to do. And what advice would you give to a young kid that was going down the path that you're going to?
Oh man, I'd give them the two scenarios: the jail or boys' home with nothing except copping it. And who knows how bad, or changing your way and going down a path of just hard work, head down, respect, love, and achieving, and just being content.
Put that across.
Yeah, content is very important.
Yeah, I think that's a nice way to finish up here, Nader.
Appreciate it.
Really enjoyed the chat, and thanks for being so honest with us too. But I think that's what carries some weight when people talk openly, and you've certainly telling us the way it is. I think honesty is the easy way, because if you bullshit, you're gonna get caught out somewhere. Yeah, I think honesty is easy, man. Yeah. I'm a straight person. I don't like to talk shit. I'm just real. Real's the best. Well, you certainly come across real, and thanks for your time, and also congrats on your career and the way that you live in your life. You should be proud. Thanks for having us, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for being here. Cheers. Thank you.